Wow. I absolutely hate power outages because then it just screws up everything. Are we living in America or are we living in the third world? Because, I'm used to power outages in Jamaica. But I'm truly getting tired of it here in the U.S., who acts as if they know everything and can do everything right and, everything is perfect. So it crashes your stuff, simply, and ruins your things when you're trying to come on and do stuff. So my monitors are gone, so you got to bear with me because, hey, it's what it is. It's Friday. TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Wow, and when you have no one to help you, it's even worse. So you just got to work with what you have and make the best of it. So I say good morning and welcome to you from around the world and in the United States. This is the Diana Wright Show live. That's what happens when you do live stuff. Right here on my website. It's www.dianawrighttv.webs.com. So we welcome you to the show, and we just want to kind of go over some of the things that wowed us this week, because there is a lot of wow. It's a lot of wow to hear Marsha Blackburn, who is a Republican, who is trying to explain what HIPAA is. HIPAA has to do with healthcare privacy, your health information. So you want to tell me that the people in Congress that are going after Obamacare by the throat, they don't even understand what HIPAA is? Why are these people representing you fools? They're dungos. They come and they get you to vote for them, but do they truly know what happens or what things mean? They don't even know what the government does, because if they did, they would not have shut the government down for 16 days. And the Republican Congress, Tea Partiers led by Paul Ryan, 144 of them wanted to have this shutdown continue and kill the global economy. And in the Senate, led by the anointed Ted Cruz, said by his dad to be anointed by God, along with his 18 partners in the Senate, wanted this shutdown thing to continue, so we would still be going through it and the economy globally would have been crashed. And they suffer no consequences? For me, that is a big wow. Wow Friday, because I am truly thinking that if any one of us did something like this, we would right now be behind those bars that we call prison. And yes, NSA, is there anyone that you have not tapped their phone or their voicemail or their email, or ooh, are you going to have the whole world mad with you, NSA? Or are you going to find Snowden and crush him? Which one are you going to do? Because, man, he's making you guys look really bad. And yesterday, the ex-CIA guy who was caught telling secrets, talking crap about the Obama administration on the train, does he not know that everyone listens to you when you speak on the train? When you're on the train, you need to get off your cell phone and stop talking. Unless you want everyone to hear what you're saying and you want them to tweet it out live. What did we do before we had cell phones? And yeah, Mr. Hayden was actually telling his people when he's crashing the president and everybody else, don't call my name now. Just a senior administration person. Yeah. Wow, what a world we live in. We're so hooked to that cell phone that we just don't know what to do with ourselves. Seriously. And the cell phone and video is going to be the death of us. Because some of us are uncontrollable, out of control. So as you listen to Marsha Blackburn explaining away HIPAA, she's the same person that Mr. Roberts on MSNBC nailed her with questions she could not answer because she had to recite the talking points. You know, I love to watch these politicians, all of them. When they're on television, they have talking points that they have to stick to. And even though you're asking them a question, they can't answer the question because the talking points has to be repeated. If I were a Republican today, I'd be very, very ashamed of myself. I'd be totally embarrassed and put to shame. And Speaker Boehner, does he have any balls in his pants or he doesn't? Is he so hung up on being Speaker that he will do the wrong thing and ruin America because he wants to keep his one job, while the rest of America suffers and the rest of the world suffers because just the threat of saying that you're going to breach the debt ceiling throws the world's economy in, you know, I know lots of you used to hear that if America sneezes, the world catches a cold. And that is actually true. It is true whether you like it or you don't like it. Whether you like America or you hate America. Or whether you want to be like China and de-Americanize the world, that's a fact. If America sneezes, the world just catches a cold. And yes, China, remember, most of your products are sold to Americans. Even those that are killing the dogs, bad drywall killing people, all the bad things, tainted this and tainted that coming out of China, badly made stuff, cheap looking stuff, we still go to China. And yes, some American companies are realizing that they need to rebuild the manufacturing sector in the United States. So we can actually see labels that say, Made in America, like my t-shirts. I love me, Made in America. I was very insistent that my t-shirts, I love me t-shirts, are made here in the US. The place that everything used to be manufactured before China came and took it over with their cheap labor. So now that we're realizing that the quality sucks, and there are lots of tainted products coming out of there that could actually kill our dogs and kill our people, we're now going to say, yes, let's bring our businesses back to shore in the US. Good thing, but it's a wow thing for me. Even Walmart is now trying to find made in the USA products as they continue to enslave their employees with low wages. That's indeed wow. How is it for you? Are you wowed by the fact that someone could work at McDonald's for 10 years and never get a raise? That is incomprehensible. For me, anyway. How can you work for someone for 10 years and you don't get a raise? That doesn't even make sense. Does it make sense to you? That for me is a wow. It is a wow for me to see Senator Ted Cruz go back to his home state and be glorified and talked about being anointed by his dad, Raphael. That's a wow. So Ted Cruz just gets away with this thing, scotch-free. I am also wowed by the fact that the Daily Show and their reporters who kind of do things in a fun way could get someone in Carolina, who is part of the registrar for the voting. Huh? And what did he say? Oh, and he said it with such glee. He talked about the blacks. And then he said, when he was asked about why they were truly purging and changing the laws of voting, oh, it was just to kick them Democrats in their butts. So the truth is out now. It's not about voter fraud. Nobody's voting twice, or 3 times as they would have you think. It's to kick them Democrats in their butts and let them lose. But you see, there's a mightier power than men that have 2 feet. It's God through his son Jesus. And you see, he's supernatural, men aren't. So when you think you're digging a grave, and that's in the Bible, try to dig 2, because you're going to fall in that grave before the other person that you're trying to dig it for. They're all trying to dig a grave for President Barack Hussein Obama, who they hate so much because he's such a scary black guy and his black family in the White House that was built for only white people, that they would do anything, even if it hurts normal, law-abiding Americans, just to hurt President Obama. They will do it. I am truly wowed by that. This is indeed a big Wow Friday. But the good news out of the big Wow Friday for me is that I could get this article written by a wonderful reporter, Nicole Boucher, who talked about my book and my struggle and my daughter's almost dead life, just simply by negligence in a hospital where you expect to go and be taken care of. Yeah? So you go in with 5 senses and you leave with 0 senses. How about that, America? Are you willing to look at the deadly negligence and see that it affects each and every one of us? Yeah, you can go to my website and you will see it. It's on Facebook. It's everywhere. But how do we get that story to every parent, to every teenager, to every politician to see what's really and truly going on? And that, yes, when you're in a hospital, after 45 days, the insurance company, through the social worker, will say to you, oh, you are no longer covered by your insurance because you've exceeded the 45 days that you're allowed to be sick. And if you're like me and you say, okay, so are you going to throw us out in the street now, even though she's still in a coma? Oh, no, you can apply for Medicaid. So Deadly Negligence by Diana Wright, available on Amazon and on my website for sale, is crucial for every single human being that can read, because you know there are some black people who talk about they don't read. So you can actually give them their names on a piece of bread and they will eat it and not know it's their name. Yeah. Not meaning to insult anyone, but we've heard that saying so many times. I don't read. You need to start reading. You need to start researching to see what is happening around you. It is vital and it is indeed important. Why do you think there's a Bible? You want things to happen? Read it. That's the reason a lot of you can go to church and preachers can preach and preach and preach and tell you anything, pick a verse out, and you never go home and read the whole chapter. So you're really stuck on that verse. You know, like the one that says that you will be granted all the desires of your heart. No, my friends, you got to read the whole chapter of that psalm. And the one that says, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. But the next verse says, send prosperity now. Nobody does say that part. You got to read the whole thing, because a preacher they only have a certain time to preach, so they really don't have the time to go through the whole chapter. But I'm sure every preacher that you have as your pastor, as your prophetess, as your bishop, as your prophet, will tell you that they expect you to go home and read the word. So for those of you who are talking about you don't read and that's why you're not going to buy Deadly Negligence, I'm here to say to you that you need to read it. You must read it, because it will open up your mind. It will give you a moment of pause. And it will indeed build your faith in your God. And it will make you believe in miracles again. Absolutely. So what are you going to do? It's a wow for me to hear people talk about, I don't read. Up to last night, I was told that. I don't read? What do you mean you don't read? How do you survive by not reading? How do you know when the doctor tells you something and you're, what do I do now? How do you know if you're not going to read and research and find out about that thing? So yes, my people. Yes, my friends. You gotta read. It's important to read. And if you've never read a book in your entire life, I challenge you to read Deadly Negligence by yours truly, Diana Wright. It's available on Amazon if you want to buy it from Amazon. You can buy it through my website also. And this t-shirt and all the other t-shirts in different colors that says I love me came out of the whole process of my 13-year-old almost killed by a nurse and a doctor. Yeah? It's not a made-up story. It really happened. And you see the journey when you read the book. As a parent, it will make you cling to your children a little tighter. It will make you hug them more. It will make you love them more. As a teenager, you realize that you're not invincible, because your life can change by the stick of a needle. And as a man, you will learn lessons that you've never heard or seen before. So yes, it encompasses everybody. And call me crazy for plugging it on my own show. This is my show, The Diana Wright Show. So I can plug my book as much as I want. And I can plug my article as much as I want to. Yes, this is the Sun Sentinel this past Sunday. So how do you break through the glass ceiling of getting your book to Oprah? Or getting your book to MSNBC, to their new book club? Or on the New York Times bestseller list, you know? You know, the Bible never got it there. Never got to be on that bestseller list. The USA Today have a bestseller list. Everybody has a bestseller list. So how do you break the ceiling of getting on there unless you're on the Housewives talking trash? This is wow for me. Oh yes, it is a wow day for me. Another wow, how do you as a parent carry your baby for 9 months in your belly? It is delivered by C-section or through your vajayjay. And you decide that because your breasts are not able to squeeze out that milk, or for that baby to latch on to that milk, that breast to get that milk, you decide to go online to buy milk from someone else's breast to give to your baby? That's crazy wow. I think that is my biggest wow for the week. I'm going to give that the prize of the biggest wow for this week. How do you do that as a parent? I heard about it a long time ago, but I kind of dismissed it. But now that we realize how much bacteria and how much sickness you can cause to your baby by giving them someone else's milk, now it's exploded. And yes, what a big wow. The other wow for me this week is that the Republican Party can just get away with shutting down the government, ruining lots of lives in the United States, threatening the global economy, and they just got away with it. Because now they've pivoted to what they really want to do, is kill Obamacare, kill the Affordable Care Act, kill the ACA, fire Secretary Sebelius, and all those who need to be fired. And they hold their hearings, but do they forget that they had a hearing after Medicare Part D was rolled out by the Bush administration? The hypocrisy of the politicians in Washington truly wow me. And that's a close second. It could almost be two number ones. And Mr. Pallone from New Jersey, who just refused to yield with the monkey court yesterday, congratulations to you, sir, for speaking truth. When Social Security was rolled out, how many umpteen years ago? Wow, that was a debacle too. That's the reason they turn to numbers instead of names, because people, when I go online and I put my name in, oh my God, I'm surprised that so many people have my name. But if I put in the Diana Wright Show, then I get the right person. So that was fixed. And how do you like Social Security now for all the elderly people that are getting it? Medicare? Same thing. What a debacle that was when it was rolled out. And then remember, there were no websites and no this. Everything was done the old-fashioned way by hand. And that was fixed. So instead of the Republicans talking about solutions to fix the problem, they did what? And they're doing what? Every time I forget to turn my phone off, some crazy person calls me in the time that they know I'm supposed to be on the air. Right? So I'm going to ask someone to come and turn off my phone for me, or take it and go with it and speak to that person that is calling me at this time. All right? So seriously, are the Republicans a party of blockage and a party of obstruction and a party of just not doing anything positive? Or are they going to try to be part of the solution? The Democrats worked with the Republicans to fix Medicare Part D under George W. Bush. So why can't the Republicans work with the Democrats to fix the Affordable Care Act issues that are occurring on the website? Why? Because they hate President Barack Obama. They don't want to see him succeed at anything. So they will do everything like they've been doing for the past 2.5 years to say how bad the Affordable Care Act is. Ted Cruz called it sugar that you're going to get addicted to. Yeah, I love sugar, but I ain't going to get addicted to Affordable Care Act because I don't need it. Affordable Care Act is there for the people who need it, who cannot get insurance. Do you have a pre-existing condition yourself? Does your child have a pre-existing condition? Could you buy insurance before? No. The Affordable Care Act will allow you to do so. Were you kicked off your parents' insurance at 18? And now you've learned that you can stay on it until you're 26, because that's when 26-year-olds to me are just having a brain. They're just beginning to think straight. They're just beginning to realize that they're not invincible and they can actually get sick. They're just beginning to become who they really are. Because talk about 18-year-olds, they're just still stupid. At 18, most 18-year-olds that I know or that you know, they can't even write a memo or a proper letter. And I say 18-year-olds, I didn't say all, I said most. Give them a project to write a good letter and see what they come up with. Or write a memo. You're the CEO of a company, write a memo to your staff. See what they give you. You're applying for a home loan and you need to write to the lender. See what they write. So we should indeed take a moment and say wow, and give our brain a time to think and read. Stop being in other people's business and go read a book. Reading maketh the man. So I'll say reading maketh the woman. Don't tell me you don't read so you can't buy my book. If you just want to be supportive of the cause and the journey, you should be buying the book. Remember with Paula Deen? All those people went out and bought her books. Most of them said, we don't cook. We're never going to cook. We probably don't even open the book. We're buying the book to support Paula and show her our support. So could you all just do that? Or it's just too hard? I'm going to take a break and come back in just a moment. And before I do, I say thank you so much for joining me today. This is the Diana Wright Show live online. My website, www.dianawrighttv.webs.com. Hello everyone, this is a season of giving. And I'm asking you to consider one of your gifts to be Deadly Negligence, written by yours truly, Diana Wright. A story that will give you hope, make you mad, shock you sometimes, but is bound to increase your faith and make you believe in miracles again. So please, give Deadly Negligence as a gift, as the gifting season begins to heat up. I am depending on you to do this for me. Thank you so much, and be the proud person to give a gift of the book Deadly Negligence. It's available on Amazon.com and on my website dianawrighttv.webs.com. Thank you so much for my viewers around the world and in the United States. Be blessed. Alrighty, we are back, and we're thanking you so much for joining us from around the world and in the United States. This is the Diana Wright Show live, and don't forget, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, if you want to be a guest on the show, just give me a call at 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Leave me a message if I don't answer, and I will call you back if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show, if you'd like to advertise on the show, and of course, if you'd like to have me come to your event to speak about my I Love Me crusade, give you my testimony, and talk about my book, I'll be happy to be your guest. So give me a call, 561-228-1921. So after you've gone into enough Walmarts, you will think you've seen every type of shopper. But I bet you didn't see this one. A 6-foot alligator was found window shopping at Walmart in Apopka, Florida. Customers and the employees found the gator by the sliding glass door. The gator actually caused the automatic door to open over and over again. Employees had to lock the door to keep it from getting inside. Oh my God. Can you just imagine, close your eyes and imagine going to a Walmart and seeing an alligator at the front door? I'd be scattering back to my car real fast, never to go into that Walmart again. After customers and other workers flocked to see the creature, it decided it had had enough and walked off into the woods. I don't think they should have allowed that alligator to walk back into the woods. He gonna come back, don't think. I think he's coming back. And maybe he'll come back when the doors are open. Alrighty, millions of American families could face a sparse holiday. Now this is another wow. When food stamps benefits get reduced in November because of the Republicans, and that could be just the start of a deeper cuts to the program to feed poor families. The modern day food stamp plan, now called SNAP. Do you know what SNAP is? Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. That's what it's called. It's scheduled to scale back benefits for all recipients November 1. Are you aware of this? So if you're on SNAP and you're watching me right now, or you know someone on SNAP and you're watching this, please tell them November 1st the benefits will be reduced because a recession era boost in benefits is expiring. That's the reason. The cuts comes as lawmakers also considering billions of dollars of reductions to the overall SNAP program, which has grown substantially. And I want to just remind Republicans that it's not just poor black people that are on SNAP, and it's not just poor white people. It is middle-class families that got killed and lost all their belongings because of what Wall Street did to the whole mortgage thing and crashed the economy. The same thing that 144 of you in Congress and 18 of you in the Senate were actually wanting to do again. Okay? Alrighty. The program is now serving more than 23 million households, or nearly 48 million people. Did you hear me, people? So don't think about SNAP as a poor people thing. Food stamps is no longer for the poor. It also helps middle-class families who are destitute because of Wall Street and its crazy derivatives. Okay, so according to most government data through June, that was the number. It could just be more. The USDA says the average monthly benefit is about $275 per household. And if you know about buying stuff, even in Walmart, $275 for the entire month, if you have a family of 3 or more, is not a lot of money. Yes, I'm conservative. I believe that everybody should go and find a job. Yes, I'm conservative. I think that people should not be lying on their backs getting babies and expecting the government and society to take care of those children. Yes, I believe that people should go to school and get an education. That's my conservative thoughts. But I still believe what the Bible says and what Jesus asked us to do is to help the poor. Because it doesn't matter what we do, there will always, based on the Bible, there will always be people who are poor. People who need help. Absolutely. The exact reduction depends on the recipient's situation. But a family of 4 with no other changes in circumstances will receive $36 less per month. And that's according to the USDA. Wow. At today's average prices, that translates to 4 fewer whole chickens each month. Well, I guess maybe you just need not to eat any chickens, but Have you ever really tried to eat healthy? It costs very much more than trying to eat junk, you know. But you have to find those places in your community that has the fresh vegetables and fruits from the farmers directly. It's much, much more affordable. So Stacy Dean, Vice President of Food Assistance Policy at the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, said that can be a major hit for a family that is already struggling with such low wages that they can't afford food on their own. So if you pay someone $8.25 an hour, $7.25 an hour, how do they afford food and rent or mortgage and take care of their kids and buy books and send them to school and get uniforms and all those things? How do they do this? And why is it that the Republicans always seem to be blocking things to help the poor, yet they call themselves Christian conservatives? I don't get it. Someone school me, please, because I just don't get it. It doesn't add up. It doesn't add like 2 + 2 = 4. It doesn't add up like look in the mirror and say, I love me, I can, I always can. It doesn't add up like the Diana Wright show declaring an I love me day April 30th every single year. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to me telling you my true story and my daughter's true story, because it's really her story. Titled Deadly Negligence, it's about her, not about me. So when you buy the book, it's not about me, it's about Pavial. It's about her story and how learning to love herself from she was a little girl helped her pull herself, finding the strength to pull and work hard to get your life back. It's her story, not my story. So for those of us who spend $1.70 a day on a latte, this doesn't seem like a big change, but it does kind of really highlight that millions of families in the United States are living on an extremely modest food budget. Others are less worried about the immediate cuts. Park Wild, associate professor at the Friedman School of Nutrition at Tufts University, said that in real dollars, the cuts brings the program's aid levels back in line with where they were in the mid-2000s, before benefits were boosted as part of the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act. Yeah? So, how do we teach the Republicans a lesson? How do we teach these 144 Congress people led by Paul Ryan and the 18 senators led by Ted Cruz? How do we teach them a lesson? How do they receive consequences for what they did and what they wanted to continue? How do we do that? There has to be some little genius out there who comes up with a way to fix these guys. I know how to do it. Just go to the ballot box and vote against them when their time comes up for re-election. Because you know we can never forget this. Why can't we? Because there's always something that's called video. And in that video, there's audio of all the crazy things that was said from... You can even see video of the Social Security debacle. Yeah. And Medicare. There's video of that too. So woe unto you what you say on video and on an open mic. Too many of you have gotten caught, politicians. Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell. You heard their open mic conversation. They were caught with their pants down. Some of them are just caught live, like the man who is in charge of the elections. in the Carolinas, someplace in Carolina. Yeah, he was caught. Yeah, the real reason we're doing this is to stick it to them Democrats. Kick the Democrats in their butts. Wow. And the ex-CIA Hayden, who was tweeted out live on the train because he talks and talks and talks too much. Put the cell phone down, people. You don't always have to be on it. When you're in the train, going to work, why don't you read my book instead? I'm sure if Mr. Hayden was reading my book, no one would have tweeted him out. But he would have been so shocked at the story that he would want to do something about the medical system in this country, insurance in this country, yes. And all those nurses that you're giving license to kill people's children and people's loved ones because they want to go to sleep and they want to shut you up at nights. Those are the things we need to pay attention to. We need to let Congress know that we want jobs, jobs, jobs. Infrastructure, infrastructure. Immigration, immigration. Farm bill, farm, and the farm bill actually includes SNAP. That's part of SNAP. The farm bill has SNAP in it somewhere there. Gun control. Don't you see every single day you wake up, the news is, oh, a teacher was killed here, shot in the classroom there. Because some little kid who is 4 or 5 or 12 takes their gun from the babysitter or whomever they can get it from and shoot people? When do we do something as a government? Isn't government supposed to make laws and do things to create jobs and grow the economy and all that? The Republican Party has totally lost their way. And the infighting that they're having, I wonder how that's going to turn out. Because you see, in 2016, I don't care who the Republicans put up. Even Huntsman couldn't help them this time. Because he was the only sane person. And look how many votes he got. He didn't get many votes in the primary because he was being sensible. The Republicans don't seem to like sensible people or people who speak the truth. They seem to like Romney, who told lies because he hated 47% of us. And he could only tell that to his big donors in Boca Raton in their mansion. That's when people speak the truth, you know, is when they're with their friends of their equal. But he didn't realize that there was one little waiter there, a white guy, who was offended by what he was saying and decided to put his little cell phone in the roses to catch it. This is so funny. So as it's so funny, we'll take another break and we'll come back in just a moment and regroup from the laughter that you're laughing right now. Because I know you must be laughing, unless you're not crazy. Remember, April 30th, 2014 is International I Love Me Day. I want you to start thinking about what will you do special for you on that day. Share it with me on Facebook and Twitter. And join the conversation on the Diana Wright Show, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. We are live. The number to call, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Join the conversation. Like us on Facebook. And follow me on Twitter. Alrighty, yes, we're back and we welcome you to the Diana Wright Show live online. We do this every Monday through Friday from 10:30 to 11:30. We do the live show, but don't forget, by the evening you can go to my website, dianawrighttv.webs.com, and you will see the show that you missed that day or the others that you didn't see at all. So check that out. Another wow story for me today, Kid Rock is being brought in to save Detroit. Okay, Sir Kid Rock. Well, Quicken Loans have gone in and bought up buildings for cheap High rises for cheap, cheap, cheap. They won't even tell you how much they paid for it. That's how cheap it was. And they're rebuilding Detroit. So they've brought in Kid Rock to save Detroit. Are you planning to move to Detroit anytime? You would think that Kid Rock could actually convince you to move back to Detroit? I've been to Detroit. And it just seems to be a very cold, dark place for me when I went. So what is Kid Rock going to do? How are they going to revive this? Yeah, because apart from the automobile industry, Michigan is just cold. So let's watch and see what Kid Rock is going to do to rebuild Chicago. Not Chicago, come on. Detroit! Chicago needs some rebuilding too, because all that gun killing and stuff that's going on there is just a big wow. So, Kid Rock, Detroit, let's see. I wonder how much they're paying him, because what we note is that everyone that's brought in to help Detroit, they're actually taking from Detroit. And if you listen to some preachers who are angry about the whole thing, they'll tell you there's two different Detroits. The Detroit of Quicken Loans, and I guess there's going to be the Detroit of Kid Rock now. I'm not sure who he's targeting. But some people in Detroit are very mad about the whole thing and all the money that's going to all the top people who comes in and say they're experts. Remember what Dax told us? Barry Hammond says he's tired of experts. He just needs some perts. Well, Detroit is getting lots of experts. We don't know how many of them are really perts. So we're going to watch and see what Kid Rock is going to do to get Detroit back, or rebuild it, if you will. Yeah, I have something here that I want to kind of share with you today, because you know we do all these things and we talk about everything else, and sex is one of the things that we talk about. So my question to you is, why is it that men always believe that sex can just solve all the problems? If you're depressed, they want you to have sex. If you're not talking, they figure sex will make you talk. If you're a little blue, they think sex will not make you so blue. Why is that? Sex does not solve all your problems. It doesn't. It only camouflages them. I want to reach out this day to all my friends out there in the world and in the United States, that you're feeling down and depressed because of your debts and your situation in life or whatever it is. I'm here to encourage you with the word that simply says, all things are possible through Christ who strengthens me. All things. They didn't say some things, they said all things. And if we are truly to believe and have faith and trust God through his son Jesus, we must know in our hearts that our depression only lasts for a day and should only last for a day. And I don't even want to give you a day. I want to give you a couple of hours to take you out of that place of darkness that you find yourself. Whether it's marital problems, love problems, children problems, broke problems, have nothing problems, whatever it is. Try to find that hope in you. Pull it out, no matter how deep you have to dig. And do me a favor, while you're at it, just say, I love me. You don't even have to look in the mirror. Just say to yourself, I love me. I can, I always can. Try to pull yourself out. Because believe me, no one else can pull you out. And know in your heart that there is a light at the end of that tunnel that you're looking down right now that seems so dark and so endless and so hopeless. I want you to believe and trust God. I want you to get your hope back. And I want you to know that when you're digging and digging and digging, eventually you'll come to the rock that you are. And the place that you will find strength to go forth and achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. It might take a lot of time, because sometimes it does take time. Sometimes so much longer than you ever want it to last. But it truly comes to an end. And if you can find it in your heart to buy deadly negligence, you will truly see and believe that miracles do happen in these days. Not in Bible days only, when Jesus turned water into wine, he raised Lazarus from the dead, he made the blind see, he healed and restored the man with a withered hand by just letting him stretch it out. He made the dumb speak. He healed all sickness and diseases. Just know, please know in your heart. You gotta believe it though. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe it. There's always a way out. There's always a choice that you got to make to get you out of that deep, dark hole. Because I know that that hole can be truly dark, truly deep, and truly seem impossible. But if you think and you believe and you trust God and you say to yourself, I know for sure. You know Oprah's favorite saying, I know what let me share with you what I know for sure. That someday, some way, you will reap the grapes from vineyards you never planted. You will receive blessings that you just don't know where they're coming from. And God will truly open the windows of heaven and pour you out blessings that you have not room to receive. I'm not preaching to you. I'm speaking to you from my heart, from my soul, and from my spirit. Because I know that I know that I know, and I talk to my friends and they're so down because of debt mostly, or divorce, or broken promises, or broken hearts. There's always someone else who has a bigger problem than you have. My child almost died. That's her story. But I have friends who lost their children to death. They never came back. So that's what should keep you strong. To know that someday the joy and the light that God promised and all the things he promised you will eventually come to you. So whatever it is that you want, put it out there in the universe. If you want a movie out of your book, like I do, put it out in the universe. You never know who will pick it up. If you want some more money, put it out there in the universe. But you got to do something. You got to take action. You can't just sit down and wait for God to put it in your lap. It doesn't work like that. You got to do something. Take time to brood. Take time to feel sorry for yourself. Take time to have that pity party. But I'm begging you, please don't stay there. You got to get up and dig deep. How deep it is? As deep as you can dig to find your way back to your joy, to your peace, to your happiness, to abundant health, abundant wealth and prosperity, because that's what you were promised. And tell your children constantly how much you love them. Let them know that they are a blessing to you. Remember the words? You are my son, my blessed son, in whom I'm well pleased. Tell your children that every day. Hug them, embrace them, let them feel that love that you have for them. And teach them to love themselves, because when they do, they will be able to fight any devil that comes their way. Any obstacle that comes their way. Because if I did not teach Paviel to love herself, I promise you, she would not have had the strength, the courage, and the faith to fight her way back to life. So I'm going to ask you to fight your way back to life today. Your situation might not be as bad as my daughter's and mine and my family. But whatever it is that you're struggling with, there's always going to be a solution. And sometimes you just have to get up, stand up, brush yourself off, and keep on stepping. And say, God, thank you for the way you made me. Because I truly love me and love myself and who I am. And despite all the obstacles and all the naysayers and all the negative people and all the people around you who think that you're not who you really are, they'll find out later when you show them. The greatest revenge is success. So that's where we have to leave it today, as we say thank you so much for joining us on this Wow Friday. And I do say wow. If you haven't read the article about my book yet, please find it in the Sun Sentinel. And all you have to do is put in Sun Sentinel on your computer or on your cell phone, your smartphone, your whatever phone. And just put my name in beside that, Sun Sentinel, and you will see the article. It's in the health section of the newspaper. And that is indeed a wow week for me. And I hope you can find your wow today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Wherever you go to worship this week, and whether you go on Saturday or Sunday, or you start from sundown this evening, I ask you to just worship and go for the word and praising God the right reason. Don't just go meet people and do multi-level marketing and all that kind of stuff and find a lover or married or a husband, wife. Go to praise and worship God and hear the word. And when you hear the word, make sure you go home and you take that scripture and you read it for yourself and try to understand it for yourself. And if you don't understand it, when you go back to Bible study, you ask your pastor, your prophetess, your prophet, your preacher, your minister, whatever title you give. And I'm sure they will explain. So have a blessed weekend and a safe one. And don't forget the 3 magic words. It's on my shirt. I love me. Ciao.